In the world of martial arts, the assassination organization Wu Feng was growing increasingly powerful, with almost no one daring to oppose them, except for the Gong family. Wu Feng plotted to infiltrate the Gong residence, aiming to eliminate them completely. Yun Weishan, a pawn in Wu Feng's plan, was ordered to pose as a bride and enter the Gong residence to carry out an espionage mission. Han Yasi, her trainer, groomed her meticulously, knowing that even the slightest mistake would ruin everything. As Han Yasi trained Yun Weishan in the qualities of a refined lady, he explained the situation of the Gong residence. The Gong family resided in the secluded Old Dust Valley, isolated for a century and unbound by martial world rules. Their relationship with Wu Feng was one of deep hostility. The Gong family was divided into 4 lineages: Shang, Zhu, Ji, and Yu. Each lineage had clear responsibilities, and the Elders' Council made final decisions on major matters. Yun Weishan, only at the lowest Qi rank and lacking combat experience, was warned by Han Yasi not to trust anyone who wants inside the Gong residence. If she completed this mission, she would be free from Wu Feng and could live the life she longed for. Han Yasi's words were an irresistible offer, and Yun Weishan accepted with determination. The bride selection at the Gong residence was organized for the young master, choosing eligible women from reputable martial families. Han Yasi and Yun Weishan picked a relatively unknown family to impersonate and sneak into the selection. As Yun Weishan prepared to leave, Han Yasi hesitated, reluctant to part with her. In his mind, he recalled the Wu Feng leader's order to have Han Qi spread the word that one of the brides was a Wu Feng assassin. But he couldn't say it aloud. Meanwhile, Gong Ziyu, the second son of the current sword wielder, appeared to be idle, spending his days in brothels and taverns. However, he was sharp-minded and highly skilled, merely lacking a place to use his talents. Han Qi led his men to a pharmacy that served the Gong residence, and after a brief fight, the shopkeeper was defeated and knocked out. Han Qi spread the news that one of the brides was a Wu Feng assassin, turning the wedding into a deadly trap. The shopkeeper, faking unconsciousness, quickly tended to his wounds and rushed back to the Gong residence to report. On the way, he ran into Gong Ziyu and informed him of the news before passing out. Gong Ziyu ordered the shopkeeper's rescue and considered informing his father and brother. However, he was worried that his father might eliminate all the brides, resulting in the deaths of many innocent women. After returning to the valley, Gong Ziyu decided to tell his elder brother Gong Huanyu first. To his surprise, their father was also present, and Gong Ziyu had to speak the truth. Unexpectedly, their father intended to kill all the brides. Gong Ziyu tried to dissuade him, but his father's mind was set. With no choice, Gong Ziyu decided to find another way. All the selected brides, dressed in wedding garments, arrived at the Gong residence, only to be seized by guards and thrown into prison. Yun Weishan remained calm, having been trained by Wu Feng to survive brutal trials. Gong Ziyu, watching from the city wall, felt uneasy. He ultimately decided to let the brides go, knowing that most were innocent. Gong Ziyu recalled a secret passage and, under the guise of drug testing, led the brides to it. Gong Ziyu opened the passage door, telling the brides it was filled with traps but was their only chance of escape. As they hesitated, Gong Yuanzheng rushed in. Gong Ziyu stepped in to stop him, and they fought. While counterattacking, Gong Yuanzheng released a pill that temporarily paralyzed the brides. During the chaos, Gong Ziyu secretly told Gong Yuanzheng that he was setting a trap to draw out the Wu Feng assassin among them. Gong Yuanzheng then played along and let Ziyu push him back. Eager to earn merit, Yun Weishan saw this as the perfect opportunity to assassinate Gong Ziyu. Just as she was about to act, Shang Guangcan pulled her back. At that moment, one of the brides struck and seized Gong Ziyu, attempting to escape with him. The young master Gong Hanyu arrived with reinforcements. Gong Hanyu knocked the bride unconscious, confirming she was the Wu Feng assassin. Gong Yuanzheng became the interrogator. His concocted poison made life worse than death. Despite the inhuman torture, the captured bride revealed nothing. She had been sent by Han Qi to serve as a decoy and cover for the other Wu Feng assassins. Her exposure meant she had fulfilled her mission. Earlier, Gong Ziyu had used his sister Gong Zishang's mask to disguise Yun Weishan's identity. This mask was very important to him, so after the incident, he retrieved it from Yun Weishan. Just then, someone delivered a cup of Angelica golden herb tea to Yun Weishan. Gong Ziyu was surprised. Yun Weishan said all the brides had drunk this tea the night before. She asked if something was wrong. Gong Zhao explained that although the tea was supposed to be a tonic for women, long-term use could affect fertility. Seeing that the tea looked different from usual, he found an excuse to take it away. The young master Gong Huanyu heard that Gong Ziyu had visited Yun Weishan and suspected his brother had feelings for her. However, he said he would leave her to his brother. Just then, their father Gong Huanyu summoned them. Gong Hanyu harshly scolded Gong Ziyu for being lazy and nearly ruining their trap by acting without permission. It turned out Gong Hongyu and Gong Hanyu had already decided not to kill all the brides, but rather to lure out the assassin. Before they could act, Gong Ziyu had jumped ahead. Gong Ziyu felt justified in what he did. If there had been a plan, why hadn't they informed him earlier? It nearly caused a disaster. He also brought up the strange tea. Gong Hongyu explained that the formula had been changed to protect outsiders from poison traps. Once again, he blamed Gong Ziyu for being irresponsible and spending his days in brothels. Feeling disrespected, Gong Ziyu threw the tea to the ground and stormed off. Since the assassin had been caught, the bride selection would continue. All the candidates had to be evaluated and assigned a token, gold, jade, or wood, based on their overall qualities. Those with gold tokens were the top candidates and would be considered first. As expected, the bride would likely be chosen from among them. Yun Waishan and Miss Jiang received gold tokens, while Shang Guanqian received a jade one. If not chosen by the young master, the gold token holders might be picked by Gong Ziyu. Shang Guanqian declared that Gong Ziyu was the one she loved and warned the others not to compete with her. At the start of the selection ceremony, Gong Wanyu seemed to already know his choice. He walked straight to Yun Waishan and studied her for a long time. Yun Waishan thought he would pick her, but he suddenly reached for Miss Jiang's hand instead. Yun Waishan was shocked. Han Yasi had told her that failure to be selected would mean certain death. Realizing this, she began to plan her next move. Gong Shangju returned to the Gong residence and was summoned by Gong Hongyu, who was about to discuss the role of the next sword wielder when Gong Gongyu rushed in, reporting that the captured assassin was Jing Nani, the second daughter of the Yunyu, Jing family. Gong Hongyu immediately changed plans and told Gong Shangju to investigate the Jing family under the guise of business. Yun Waishan thought long and hard before finally knocking on Shang Guanqian's door. To her surprise, Miss Jiang was there too. She took this chance to create trouble for Miss Jiang, hoping to eliminate her and gain an advantage. Before coming to the Gong residence, Miss Jiang already had someone she loved. However, under family pressure, she was forced to participate as a candidate for the bride selection. She was strongly opposed to the marriage. After chatting for a while, Yun Waishan put some drugs into Miss Jiang's teacup and watched as she drank it. News broke that Miss Jiang had been harmed. The guards immediately launched an investigation and called all the brides outside, but Yun Waishan was nowhere to be found. Shang Guanqian saw Yun Waishan in black hiding on the rooftop and signaled her to hide in her own room. Shang Guanqian then asked the guards if they were looking for Yun Waishan. After getting a positive response, she claimed that Yun Waishan had caught a contagious rash on her face and had been staying in her room. Yun Waishan quickly understood her intention. She drank the antidote she carried with her, took off her clothes, and got under the covers. The guards entered Shang Guanqian's room, and, despite seeing the rash on Yun Waishan's face, the leader still lifted the blanket and saw Yun Waishan's bare back. Only then did they apologize and leave. Shang Guanqian handed over the antidote she had prepared. If Yun Waishan didn't take it soon, her face might be permanently scarred. Yun Waishan suspected Shang Guanqian might also be part of Wufeng and gave the secret code. Upon confirmation, she was surprised to learn Shang Guanqian was a higher-level Mei than herself. Suddenly, a great change occurred in the Gong residence, and the entire atmosphere was grim and oppressive. Gong Ziyu was summoned to the Elder's Court, where they told him directly that his father Gong Hong and older brother Gong Huanyu had both died in an accident. According to the rules of the Gong family, the absent succession rule was triggered, and Gong Ziyu would inherit the position of sword wielder. This unexpected change and sudden inheritance were hard for Gong Ziyu to accept. According to tradition, the person chosen to be the sword wielder must have secret characters tattooed on his back, signifying that his fate is now bound to the Gong family, born for the Gong family, and must also die for it. While enduring the pain of the tattooing, Gong Ziyu recalled his father's words when he used to scrub his back as a child, and he couldn't help but shed tears. Gong Yunzheng, upon hearing that both the sword wielder and the young master had died, and that Gong Ziyu had succeeded the role, was very upset. His older brother Gong Shangju ranked ahead of Gong Ziyu. The elder patiently explained that the Gong family could not be without a leader for even a day.
Since both the sword wielder and the next heir had perished, the rules required that a substitute heir be appointed. As Gong Shangjue was not in the Gong residence, only Gong Ziyu was eligible, hence the unanimous decision by the elders. After the funeral of Gong Hongyu and Gong Huanyu, Gong Ziyu sat in front of the house, reminiscing about moments with them.
Although his father had always been strict with him, he deeply loved him. If you love the story, subscribe for the next episode.